You are not ready for the severe weather coming this week. Starting off with the day one categorical severe weather risk, where we have a 10% Sigma 1 tornado threat. Also, look, we got a tornado threat out here in Tennessee and Kentucky. You'll see that later. So we have the 10% tornado risk, 45% wind risk, and a 30% hail threat. Then on the day two risk, we have a enhanced risk with a 10% tornado risk and two 30% hail and wind threats. Then on the day three, we have another enhanced risk with a 30% chance of severe weather. Then on the day four, we have a 15% severe weather risk, which is equivalent to a slight risk, and another slight risk of severe weather. Now, going into the high resolution weather models, we're on the HRRR right now. So as you can see right now, we have a big wad of storms out here near Kansas City, some storms up here near Chicago, and some rain down here in Kentucky and Tennessee. That's basically it. But if we go forward through this into later today, we will have some supercells form, but those will quickly upscale into a strong line of thunderstorms. We could almost have a remake of what happened on Sunday with that moderate risk. And also down here in Kansas and Nebraska, we could have some storms form out here, but it's not looking to be as significant as up here, but we could still have a line of thunderstorms out here. And as I push this forward, this will become a very strong line of thunderstorms with QLCS tornadoes in here somewhere, as we do have a 10% risk of severe or of tornadoes. But also, we may have some severe weather down here in southern Indiana and northern Kentucky. But as I push this forward, that line's gonna move on, and it's not gonna be as significant, and it's eventually just gonna move out of the country. But if I keep pushing this forward, we're gonna have new thunderstorms form on Wednesday, and those are gonna also cause their own severe weather. We could have a few supercells out here, as you can see. But I think Thursday is going to be the main day for tornadoes. And also we could have a few supercells form back here. That's not really a supercell, but you know what I mean. And then before it's all said and done, we're going to have another line of storms. Then on Thursday, that's as far as the HRRR goes. Then let me get this 48 hours out. There. Then on Thursday at 1 a.m., we could have a strong line of thunderstorms moving down through like places like Chicago and Indianapolis. But that's not supposed to be the main threat. We could also have a few supercells form out here in Nebraska and Missouri and places like that. And if I push this forward, those are going to push into Chicago, causing the main threat for Thursday, where we could have some supercells just all up in this, and even maybe one form down here near Indianapolis and cause a tornado threat. We could also have these scattered storms, little summer storms out here in the southeast, with a isolated severe threat. But as I keep moving this forward, it's going to become a very long line of storms. I don't quite remember how long it has to be considered a derecho, but it's a good 700 miles across. I think it only has to be like 300. We may have a derecho on late Thursday night. Now, if I move this over this direction for the Friday threat, you can see all these storms down here kind of fizzle out, but that's also as far as the Rufus will go. And as we come over to the GFS model, we can see it's showing some storms forming up here in New York around 5 p.m. The GFS is a low resolution model, so this just shows that there are going to be storms up here. It could, once the high resolution models come in, like a supercell here, here, up here. This is just giving you a rough area of where the rain's going to be at. But it's looking like storms will move into New York around 9 o'clock on Friday, and then they're going to move out to the ocean after that. Now, if I move back over here, there's our Saturday risk. We can already see that it's looking like they're hinting towards a supercell out here, somewhat close to Sioux Falls. And that's looking like it could be a pretty long-lived supercell. But then we're going to have a huge cluster of storms pop up around 6 o'clock possibly. And those look like they're going to merge into a line and move down through Missouri and Kansas and Oklahoma and Arkansas and all those places. And then it's going to be a big water rain for everybody over here. But then on Sunday, we don't have an SPC outlook for this yet, but it looks like we could have another day of significant severe weather out here. So, subscribe to the channel, for there will be more updates coming out. Like, I don't know if there'll be one tomorrow morning, but there'll probably be one the day after tomorrow morning. So make sure to subscribe for more videos. Now over to pivotal weather for the Cape and significant tornado parameter values. So going into today, already at 10 a.m., we're going to have an insane amount of Cape out here. But it's going to be getting up into the 4,000 or 5,000 range. Yeah, 5,000 out there, which is, it's crazy how much Cape's out here. So that's just going to be super good for these storms. It's going to be all the fuel they ever needed. But going into Wednesday, we're going to have another resurgence of Cape where we could have 2,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of Cape out here. And then going into Thursday, we could have another 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of Cape out here. And then on Friday, we're going to have 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of Cape out there. And then on Saturday, we're going to have another 2,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of Cape out there. This is just insane for storms. We could have some extremely bad storms. So now here's the significant tornado parameters. So as I push this forward into later today, we're going to have some pretty high significant tornado parameter values out here. But they're going to be more up in Canada. We could have a 5 out here and like some 2s and 3s out in North Dakota. And if we get a storm to develop out here in Nebraska and Iowa, it could have a chance of producing a big tornado. But then going into Wednesday, we're going to have a decent amount of significant tornado parameters. Everywhere is being roughly a 4, which is right around in the middle. And then if I push this forward into Thursday, that's actually as far as it goes. So, I think this is like the only model that has significant tornado parameters, so that's as far as I can go. So that's why you should subscribe to the channel for more. So here's the wind shear, which is basically the spin in the atmosphere. And going into later today, around 7 p.m., we could have a decent amount of it out here. Nothing too insane. But then going into Thursday, we're really not going to have that much. Oh wait, whatever happened to Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday's going to hardly have any wind shear, which is good for not having super significant tornadoes and stuff. On Thursday, we're going to have a little bit of it, but not that much. We have a lot up here, but this isn't where the storms are going to be. And as I push this forward, there's really not going to be much for any of these severe weather days. Maybe on Sunday they're going to have a good amount down here where I pointed out those storms may be, but it's really nothing that significant. So let's talk about temperatures for a minute. This is the temperature anomaly, which is the difference from average. So it's not, oh my goodness, it's 10 degrees out here in Kansas, or oh my goodness, it's -7 out here in California. No, it's that much from average. So right now, most of the U.S. is above average, with the East Coast and the West Coast being below average. And during the afternoon heating of the day, it's going to get much warmer out here. And every night you can see it goes down just like normal. We're actually going to have a little bit of a cold snap up here in the Pacific Northeast or Northwest. No, the Pacific's not on the east. And that's going to come down and chill off the whole country. As you can see, all the cold air is coming down. This is when that derecho, I called it, is coming through on Thursday. So it's going to get, watch it. Now the East Coast is warm and the West Coast is warm and the middle is below average. And it's going to stay below average for a while, it looks like. It may get really cold out here, with the Midwest possibly getting darn near freezing. And like Tennessee and Kentucky being in like the 40s, which it's not very good for our pool. But yeah, it's going to stay cold. This is kind of surprising me. And it looks like on Thursday of next week we're going to have some severe weather, because these are where storms are forming right here. You can see. But yeah, it's going to get kind of warm in the plains, but on the east and west coast it's going to stay cold. And we're going to have repeated days of severe weather for the next 2 weeks. So keep your weather app open to keep track of these storms and make sure you're not about to get impacted. So here's a 6 and 10 day temperature outlook, which is showing us that, as the temperature anomaly was saying, the Great Plains and just the central of the U.S. is going to be below average, and the east and west coast are going to be above average. And the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook is showing that The southeast and the east coast and the plains are going to be kind of above average, with the only place being below average is the west coast. And here's the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, which is looking about the same as the 6 to 10, except it's just not showing it being as cold. And the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook is showing about the same as the 6 to 10 day. So it's looking like it's going to be about the same for the next 14 days. So now, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I am a small channel and I am trying to grow my channel to eventually hitting at least 1,000 subscribers. So it would really help out the channel if you subscribed. As you can see, I'm at 210 subscribers, and my July and June through July subscriber goal is 250. So once again, if you would like to, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.